Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. Incompetent, corrupt, clinging to power. These are words in a powerful chorus of discontent, painting a picture of leadership in crisis. From bustling city streets to quiet rural villages, these phrases are repeated, reflecting a deep-seated frustration with those at the helm of power. But what lies beneath these fiery descriptions? Why do so many African citizens view their heads of state with skepticism and disappointment? Over 6 decades have passed since many African countries triumphantly gained independence, ending colonial rule. However, the journey since then has been a mixed one. While Africa isn't the catastrophic landscape often depicted by some international media, the reality is that it often ranks at the bottom in global development indicators. Understanding the challenges faced by African leadership requires a look into the past, particularly around the time when many African countries gained independence. During this period, powerful nations like France, the United States, and Belgium significantly shaped the political landscape. Influential African leaders, who aimed to fulfill the aspirations of their people, were often met with resistance. In many cases, they were overthrown, killed, or undermined, to the extent that their leadership was rendered ineffective. The 1960s and 1970s were especially turbulent, marked by numerous coups d'etat. These interventions frequently led to the installment of leaders who were seen as more compliant, but less capable. This historical context is crucial for understanding the present situation in African politics. The current political landscape in Africa echoes the historical patterns of the slave trade, where European slavers overthrew resistant African leaders in the 16th and 17th centuries, and later installed cooperative rulers. This history partly explains why many of today's African leaders, facing threats like political assassinations and foreign military influence, often choose paths of lesser resistance, such as selling natural resources at fixed prices and adhering to systems like the CFA franc, detrimental to economic growth. However, internal governance issues also play a role, as seen in nations like Nigeria and Congo-Brazzaville, where poverty remains rampant despite substantial oil revenues. Despite this prior bleak outlook, there is a potential new awakening on the continent. Captain Ibrahim Traore, a young military officer, has risen to the forefront, symbolizing a new wave of leadership. His ascension to power wasn't typical. It was through a coup d'etat that he found himself at the helm of a nation facing immense challenges. Yet, Traore focuses on rebuilding a nation plagued by drought, food shortages, and security challenges. He has fought on the front lines against Islamist militants in the north, gaining first-hand experience in the country's most pressing issue. Traore's leadership style marks a departure from traditional African politics. His diplomatic endeavors are equally challenging, navigating the delicate balance of international relations, especially with rising Russian influence and strained ties with former colonial power France. He is on a steep learning curve. His vague yet strategic stance on foreign partnerships reflects a nuanced understanding of the geopolitical landscape. Our African presidents, much like the general populace, have been shaped by a Eurocentric colonial education. This system instilled the belief that almost all significant inventions were made by white people. At the same time, African ancestors were portrayed as primitive. Consequently, many Africans are unaware of black inventors or civilizations, despite Africa's rich history of contributing to global progress. European languages further reinforce a negative connotation with the word black. Religions like Christianity and Islam also play a part, often portraying God in a way that aligns with European or Arab images, thus undermining African identity and spirituality. These religions also tend to depict African ancestors and beliefs as illogical or evil. The media and the environment, emphasizing material wealth as the ultimate achievement, contribute to a materialistic mindset among young Africans. This mindset, coupled with internalized self-hatred and a sense of inferiority, leads to a submissive attitude. These factors influence the selection and initiation of African leaders into elite circles, such as Freemasonry, where they continue to be spiritually and morally compromised. Many African leaders, lacking self-esteem and historical consciousness, see integration into the Western elite as a high achievement. Consequently, Western powers or multinationals often install or support them through violence, electoral fraud, or campaign financing. Once in power, they accept humiliation from foreigners, often without protest, as observed during the recent funeral of the English monarch, Elizabeth II. Most Africans were repulsed by the treatment of their leaders and rightfully criticized their submissive stance. However, it's rare to find leaders who are truly dedicated to achieving complete sovereignty and prioritizing the welfare of their people. Such leaders are exceptions, having successfully navigated and withstood the pressures of a system that often seeks to suppress these ideals. Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso represents a new era in African leadership at just 35. He plans a democratic transition by 2024, showing a rare willingness to relinquish power for the nation's good. His pragmatic approach focuses on immediate security and development, while navigating complex international relations and remaining attuned to the everyday challenges of his citizens. His openness to advice and learning marks a departure from traditional authoritarian rule, positioning him as a model of responsive governance in Africa. We hope the Traoré effect sets us on a path toward accountable leadership in Black Africa. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Consider subscribing and activating notifications for this channel. Always place Black priorities first. We are one Africa.